next congressman from Rhode Island. Vic, thank you for being with us.
Oh, absolutely, sir. My pleasure.
I told you about Vic before, and I'm going to have him tell you more about his background. I told you about him a week or two ago after I went to Rhode Island and met with him and did some events with him, and about Mayor Hopkins, who's here with us, and we're going to have him come and describe to you his election. Now, let me explain to you why this election is important to you. Just a second, right? This could be the one vote that decides the House.
Yes, sir.
Now, of course, I could point to a lot of other people, but what does it matter? This is the one. If you live there, this is the one you get to vote for. And if you want to help us win, this is one to contribute to, because this would be a pickup for us, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
This is one Democrats have now that we have a very good chance of taking with a candidate like this. So, Vic, first. And Vic is a perfect candidate, just the kind of candidate you and I are looking for. He's a guy from outside the private sector. Loves America. Let him tell you his background.
Well, I'm a successful businessman now,
right?
Okay, but I grew up in the inner city, single mom, welfare projects, the whole 9 yards. So I have that back, that upbringing to where it makes me connect more with the people. But now I'm a successful businessman, and I see the path from, the poverty to successful.
Right.
And it's so sad to say, but Rhode Island is last in everything right now in the business sector. And this is what we need right now.
That's really tight, because it was a time Rhode Island was a very successful state. It's small, but very per capita, very, very talented.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. And we can get back to that. And I use you as the metaphor of last to first, Mr. Mayor, America's mayor right here, brought New York last to first. And we're going to do the same thing in Rhode Island.
Well, so how did you get involved? How did you first get involved in politics?
Well, a gentleman, General Flynn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
great man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He moved near me in Florida. I was living in Florida at the time. I had to move away from Rhode Island when I was 28 years old because there was no opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go elsewhere. It's another category that Rhode Island's last in, our youth retention. We are last. Our youth is just fleeing elsewhere because there's no opportunity. Okay. So I was in Florida, became successful. General Flynn moved right down the street from me. I was doing a lot in the COVID and all kinds of other patriotic stuff, the election stuff and everything else that you guys were hearing with. So we became really good friends, and him and I traveled the country for years, stomping for the president. And then once he got elected in 24, the general went to DC and doing what he's doing now. And I retired. I was going to become a snowbird in Rhode Island, back to my home state. And I got there, and I knew it was bad, but until I moved there, I didn't realize how bad it was. And then everybody up there just talked me into, you got to do this. You got the resources, you got the connections, you got the know-how.
Yeah. You almost fit a profile that we're looking for.
Well, yes, sir.
A private sector successful guy with a great love of America, an intuitive understanding of the American spirit, which is we succeed by the work ethic. I mean, there's so many other ways we could describe it. We succeed by the work ethic. We don't succeed by what people give. I think of the immigrants, and I think of the stories that I used to hear from my mother's family, my father's family. We would never take welfare. I mean, oh my God, taking welfare. We're not going to let somebody else pay for it. We got to earn our own living. So this is the attitude that has to be redeveloped, and they need people that haven't been destroyed by politics.
Well, I agree. Well, growing up on welfare made me hungry and made me want to succeed. And it didn't become a lifestyle. And that's what they're doing now. The Democrats want people on welfare. They want them to be dependent on the system. Rhode Island is just this far away becoming a socialist state. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it now.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot. I look at my own state, New York, New York City. Oh my gosh. Now, so there's two hurdles, right? The first one is coming up on September, what did I say?
9th.
September 9th. And that's the Republican nomination. So how do we look there?
Well, look good. I have polling done, and I don't release any of my polling. They have all their stupid little polls they have out that show different things, but I get the real polls. I got the ones that you pay for, that are real. and I'm up substantially. So I've already been running against Magaziner for the last 3-4 months.
So you're really keeping an eye on a primary, but you're keeping your eye also ahead because you do have a very short period of time.
Well, that's why you have to do it that way, sir.
You know, I'm an expert at that. I got September 11th. Think of September 11th for a minute. Yes, September 11th was primary day in New York.
Yeah.
It was the primary to succeed me. But think of how late the primary is.
Mm-hmm.
So my primaries were all around September 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The 3 times I ran for mayor. The time I lost by 2%. A lot of people thought if I had another week, I would have won because we were way behind. And in the last 2 weeks, the last poll, when I ran the first time, had me losing by 10%. I lost by less than 1%.
Yeah. There you go.
If I lost.
Well, that's done on purpose. The Democrats, that's their machine.
Second time, I was down by 6%, and I knew I was going to win. And I won by 3.
No doubt. Yes,
the third time, I won by 18. So the third time was thank God. But they always were these very short periods of time where you couldn't disregard the primary, but you also had to think about the general election. You had to run like two campaigns.
And that's what we're doing. And you know, we're just going to hammer straight through.
Right.
We've basically started ramping up about 3 weeks ago. We're going to go right through the primary and right into the general.
So what are Republicans like in Rhode Island? Obviously, they're a minority. Well, can only Republicans vote in the Republican primary?
No, independents can vote also. Sir.
Okay, so this is like here, like New Hampshire.
Yep. What are Republicans like? And there's only 14% of us, but they're hidden. And Trump and Kennedy got 48% of the vote in 24. So it's there. The base is there. It's my job to ignite that base and get them out the vote. And if I don't do it, I lose. I do it, then I win handily. It's that simple.
And what percentage? So you're half the state.
Yes, sir.
And the other district is half the state.
Yes, sir.
Is there a way of telling which? Like, for example, in New Hampshire, this part of the state we're in, if it's going to go Republican, has more of a tendency. It's had Republican congressmen. Right now, there's a Democratic congressman, but it's going to be this is going to be a real race.
It's close.
This is going to be the other one is considered, Democrat. The last Republican was a rather liberal Republican, was the only way he could get through. A good guy, but this is the one where a Republican has a chance. Now, how about in Rhode Island?
Well, it's the same thing. CD1 is D+9. And CD2 where I'm running is D+4, but it's way closer.
Okay, D+4 is
it's
doable.
It's way closer than that. Yes, sir.
So, and now Magaziner, I know Magaziner, you got a real classical left-wing guy there. I mean, he probably voted against the Republican agenda or the American agenda on everything.
Everything.
He's in favor of open borders.
Transgender, everything. He
likes mutilation.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely. We are on the opposite end of the spectrum on everything. So it's going to be.
Well, sorry, you two are very familiar with the race and the district, obviously, but I think for the viewers, would you mind describing the district a little bit for our audience? Yeah, describe the district, and maybe we could put up a map too.
Well, CD2 has everything. It's got city, it's got rural, country, and it has the shoreline all the way down to Connecticut. And it's a beautiful country, beautiful country. Within 20 minutes, you can go from city life to on a farm, and which is amazing for anywhere in the country. But
and you have beach. You have beach.
And you have beach. Everything. Every part of the state is just beautiful. And it's being destroyed by these socialists right now.
And what's the difference with the other district? The other district is basically what, to the west?
It'd be more to the east. It's the east side of the state. And it's just more city. There's just more city where the Democrats have more control over their machine in the city.
And do you have Providence?
Percentage of it. Yep.
But not all of it.
Not all of it. No.
And that's what makes it possible.
That's what makes
it possible. Because if you had all of Providence, you get wiped out.
I would get wiped out.
Well, it looks like your district is much larger than the other one.
Yes, because it's a lot more rural.
A lot more rural. Yeah, so that's actually a good characteristic that we should,
Yes, I have to get the gun owners out to vote. Right now, they only voted a 30% clip, which is just astoundingly crazy to me when Rhode Island's 1 inch away from knocking on doors and taking guns away. So
exactly. And that's what we can't forget. That's another issue that, you know, doesn't necessarily fall right on the red-blue spectrum. And here in the Northeast, in Vermont, we see it definitely with their attitudes on things. So
well, we'll see Democrats with Trump flags out. I mean, that's what's going on in the state right now.
Can you show us the map?
I just had it up.
I mean, can you show us on there? Just so we get a sense so people understand. I think I have just a regular map here, and I have an idea of what you're talking about.
Can you see it, Mayor?
Now I see it, yeah. So, and that is his district?
That's my district, yes, sir.
I see.
Oh, and the coast. Oh, and New Shoreham.
Everywhere.
What?
New Shoreham, an island.
Yeah, Block Island.
A lot of voters on the island?
Not really.
No.
But you know, you still want to go out there.
Well, no, is it a symbol of the state? Forgive us. I'm not as familiar with Rhode Island. This is Stephen in the control room here, but is it do people visit? And
oh, yeah, yes, it's a tourist destination.
Because man, it looks like it would be in a great location.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes, sir.
So you're right on do you have the coast down here?
Yes, sir.
The coast of the wow.
Oh, and is that Narragansett? Is that the beer?
Narragansett, yes.
Narragansett, sorry. Oh, forgive me.
And so, you know what's beautiful about Block Island? You go out there and you can see all the beautiful windmills, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that just amazing?
Oh, yeah. Well,
we're gonna work on that, I promise.
Exactly. I don't know what Trump has to say about that, but we can get his attention with that one.
What he has to say about it, and I'm gonna support everything he's doing with it.
Oh, so but it looks like incredible.
I've taken the Newport Providence Ferry. I've taken it. I've taken it to go to the eastern end of Long Island because I have a lot of friends there.
From here, Ted's joining us here.
You went down and you save yourself about an hour and a half by doing that. You certainly save yourself traffic too, because you don't have to go through New York City. You just go straight down here from Manchester to Newport, I guess. Huh? Yeah. Yes, you get on the ferry and then you go across to Port Jefferson.
Awesome.
And Mayor, I wanted to ask.
Yes, Ted.
I want to ask our great candidate on why, you know, we have a great audience all around this country and really around the world, conservatives in other parts of the world as well. Why it's important to have someone like you with President Trump in Congress supporting his message, and why, you know, with as close of a race you're facing, how our audience can make the difference.
Well, your audience can help me out. I've put in $3 million of my own money so far, and I'll put some more if needed, but I could take all the help at vicmeller.com and help out. This will end up being the most expensive race in Rhode Island history when it's all said and done. But, you know, this isn't just about how I'm going to help the president. This is going to be about how I'm going to be the conduit to the president to help Rhode Island. Okay. I need to bring these resources to Rhode Island. I need to be friends with Washington instead of fighting Washington, which is what's happening right now.
And you know how much the president likes that. The president really likes working with local Democrats. Are stupid not to work with them.
Yes, they are.
You know, Mayor, I used to work with Bill Clinton. Now, I didn't agree with Bill Clinton a lot. He was the president, and I wouldn't call him a friend, but we had a friendly relationship.
Well, you had to work with him.
I even sued him, and at one time.
And then had dinner that night with him, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he was a grown up. He wasn't an idiot.
Yeah.
And these people are crazy. Like, particularly a mayor or a governor. Yeah. You need the help of the federal government.
All of them. Trump derangement syndrome.
And there's a lot of things where no matter what, you're going to agree. So yeah, this will help your district a lot. At least to have one. At least you'll have one voice. You'll have one voice for Rhode Island getting heard.
Absolutely, yes, sir. And that's what it's about. You know, accountability needs to happen. Right now, the Democrats they all cover for each other. And I'm going to be that voice in there that just says, no more. Those days are done.
Right.
We're going to be held accountable. Every dollar is going to go as far as it can go. You know, every dollar coming from the federal government is going to be like $5 because we're going to hold them accountable.
Part of the reason I think you were saying why the gun owners don't come out. This is something that frustrates me in New York. Mondani, who is a nightmare. He's a nightmare. If you grew up in America, understanding communism and everything else, this guy's a nightmare you never thought would come true. And the reality is very few people voted in that election. The majority of New Yorkers didn't participate in the election. Way less than a majority of New Yorkers voted for him.
Yes.
And he won. And he could easily have been overcome by just a moderate voter turnout. But the people in New York have given up. They don't, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They don't believe their vote will make a difference. Why should I vote? They're a bunch of Democratic crazies, and I think there are almost enough of those people to win an election. I'm sure you have that in Rhode Island too.
I hear it.
Why should I vote?
100 times a day. It doesn't make a difference.
Even the gun owner. Even the gun owner will say, "Why should, I hate this. They may take my gun away, but why should I vote?"
Well, we just got to start making more economic sense. It's, you got Mayor Hopkins coming on, who's the only Republican mayor in the whole state. and really, and every time I talk to him, he's always pushing business. And that's the way it's supposed to be. If you got good paying jobs, it just fixes so many problems. But the Democrats, they don't want that. They want you stuck in the system. Once they got you trapped there, then they know they got your vote. And we're there. So that, you were talking earlier, sir, about how the Muslims are taking over certain cities and states. Well, there's two avenues of that, because they work in conjunction with the socialists.
Right.
So our state isn't being taken over by Muslims; it's being taken over by the socialists.
But the DSA,
big. Yes, sir.
Yeah, your state would be hard. It'd be too easily discovered. It's the big places that have the risk of having a socialist takeover. Don't you think? I mean, a Muslim takeover. Don't you think, Ted? Well, the bigger states.
Well, it's the states where the progressives have been able to build a foothold,
sneak in and find a place where nobody was looking.
And oddly, the educated states, these universities are a breeding ground for it. And so, like Rhode Island, the whole Northeast corridor is actually quite
Rhode Island
a breeding ground for it.
Is a big university state when you consider the size of it. You've got, the two big ones are you got Brown and you have Providence.
Yes, sir. And less than 5% of their graduates stay in our state. 95% vote. So we subsidize
and they
the
vote
schools
while they're there.
A lot of people vote while they're there, sir. Maybe multiple times.
Well, Dr. Maria would tell you that if it weren't for the universities in New Hampshire, it'd be a Republican state.
Yes.
This is the strangest state. New Hampshire is Republican locally, meaning there's a Republican governor and there's a Republican legislature. At times, a veto-proof Republican legislature. And we don't have a single Republican in New Hampshire in the congressional delegation. They're all Democrats. 2 senators, 2 congressmen. And that happens because in the federal elections, all those people from Dartmouth and all the other universities come out and vote. And you know how they vote. They vote communist. They vote. Because they were taught to be Marxists.
And one more thing I wanted to show. So back to I almost said the congressman, but look at that.
Yeah, my dog.
Who's that guy?
Yeah.
And this was
a little while ago, but thank you.
Well, tell us when that was.
That was in 1989. I was in Lackland Air Force Base being trained to be a military police, and that was an explosives dog I was learning on.
Oh.
And it was super cool.
I told you, this is the guy we're looking for. Well, businessman, served his country.
I ended up being the explosive dog handler for President Bush, 41. So I went from the streets of, I always say the story. I went in a matter of 2.5 years, I went from the streets of Woonsocket to being a bomb dog handler and a guard to the President of the United States. It's just only in America does stuff like that happen. It's amazing. And I'm just like, pretty cool.
Well, we love Vic. We're going to keep banging on you until the primary, and then we're going to start in all over again. And maybe we'll have Vic back another time before the election takes place, because you got to win this election.
Yes, sir.
And I'll spend the time in the next couple of days telling you how bad his opponent is. The candidate should run as much of a positive campaign as possible, but
I do.
But the reality is the guy's a total disaster.
Yes, sir.
A total disaster.
Yes,
about as left as you're going to get.
Yes, sir.
And remind everyone how we can get in touch with you, get involved with the campaign, donate, etc. I have your website showing right now.
That's the best way. VicMellor.com. VicMellor.com. And thank you. Thank you.
Can I tell you, in doing a lot of this, going back, oh gosh, a long time. Here's what wins races. Issues, yes. This guy's got the personality too.
Thank you.
Got to be a good candidate. I mean, I've been with people that are geniuses. They understand politics better than I do. They understand how to articulate. They'd probably be great in the position, and they just can't relate to people.
Thank you, sir.
This is about relating to people.
And thank you. And I'm a little giddy just being with you,
Oh.
sir. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I'm very
Thank you.
excited about
Yeah,
you. When I meet candidates like you, it gets me excited. It makes me feel better. So we'll be back with the mayor of Cranston, former mayor in New York. We can have a great conversation. Okay? So we're going to take a short break now, and we'll be back right after you buy all our products. Okay.
Rhode Island.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster, and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's Coffee. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
And we're back.
Well, you are looking at Mayor Hopkins, who is the mayor of Cranston, Rhode Island. And among other distinctions, and we'll have him explain all of it, he's the only Republican. I don't know why I'm laughing. He's the only Republican mayor in Rhode Island. I was only the third Republican mayor in 100 years in New York, and only two remain Republicans. So I have a kind of an empathy for you, Mayor. So let's begin with that. What's it like getting your job done when the whole state political apparatus is against you?
Well, Mayor, first of all, thank you for the invite to come here and talk about Vic Meller and promote my city.
That too, yeah.
Promote my city. But Cranston's kind of unique. We have about 30,000 Democrats, 9,000 Republicans registered, but there's about 40,000 independents. And
is that true of the state in general? The independents are the most in the state?
not necessarily. No, it's predominantly a Democratic state. There are maybe 30, 40% independents.
Okay.
But there's a small Republican minority. But they're good Republicans. If they're willing to say it and live in Rhode Island, they probably live in Cranston.
Yeah. And if they say they're Republicans, they know why they're Republicans.
Exactly.
Whereas you got a lot of people just are registered.
Yep. Yeah. So my target group was to get the Republican vote and get the independent vote that voted in the last 3 years, the last 3 elections. That was the game plan that we had. And I had a great team, great strategy. And I won 6 elections in a row, 2 of them citywide, and then 2 primaries and 2 general elections. So
how did you win the first? Was that toughest?
The first? No, that was the easiest. I defeated the council president 77 to 23%.
Was there a problem? Was there a problem, like a public problem?
No, I was the new face on the block. I was a former teacher, former athletic director, former baseball coach. And I had a big family that lived in the city.
Right.
So the Hopkins name was already there. My wife was a teacher in one of the schools. My kids are all in the schools. So we had the name recognition to start with.
So now that you've won and established yourself, do they still try to take you out?
Absolutely. Every vote. Unfortunately, this particular council's worked better with me. The previous one did not. They were always, in Cranston's pretty unique. We really have 2 parties. We have Republicans and Democrats. But now we're getting a progressive party
like a DSA, the Democratic Socialists.
Democratic Socialists are moving in.
Well, they're going against the Democrats a little bit, right?
They are. Yeah, they've got 5 candidates running in this year's election.
So they're in the primaries.
In the primaries, yeah.
Will they win?
It's possible. It is possible, only because a lot of them are moving from Providence, which is our neighboring city. Providence,
which is more liberal, more left.
Providence
than
is
Cranston.
completely liberal, very, very liberal. I'm going to say maybe 2% Republican in Providence.
So it'd be harder to do what you're doing in Providence than in Cranston.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But I mean, Cranston can do it. It's starting to spread. Johnston, which is our next neighbor on the other side, they've voted for Trump, and they're swinging from a Democratic Party to a more independent right swinging. So that's good to hear. My father's uncle was the last Republican mayor of Johnston, and that was back in the 1930s. That's how long it's been.
Now, in Vic's, so you're in Vic's district.
Yes, I am.
All of Cranston is in Vic's district. He's the only congressman, or they have it chopped up?
No, he's in our district.
Okay,
yeah.
so if he gets elected, he's the one congressman that you have. The other congressman.
Cranston's very, very important. Cranston, Warwick.
And Cranston is where he can develop a Republican independent vote.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the one part that will stand up and get out in the primary and vote in the Republicans.
And they're used to it.
They are.
Now, the rest of the district, which is more rural.
Yeah, some of the rural
how
districts.
Do they end up being Democrat, or do they just not vote?
No, the rural districts have Republican leadership. We've got some of the state reps, state senators come from the rural districts. It's more along the coastal where you get the liberal.
Right.
More of the beaches, the beach areas are coastal now. They'll vote Democrat. Providence itself, I'm going to be very, very interested to see who wins that election. That mayoral election will tell us a lot.
Now, who is that? Who is running?
Mayor Smiley, who's there now. He's a Democrat. Works very well with my city.
Right.
With bordering cities. There is a socialist Democrat named David Morales that's running, and the polls have him in the lead. I don't know what's going to happen.
And what you're telling me immediately about Smiley is he sounds like he's somewhat of a rational Democrat.
He is. I stood with him the day that he announced, and being a Republican, standing up for a Democrat has to tell you something.
Yeah, maybe that for these guys that might be bad.
Well, I'm hoping that Smiley can pull that one off.
Well, we're going to look at that one. That's an interesting test. So this is he's the incumbent mayor.
Yes, yeah, he's been there for the last 4 years. He did a brilliant job on the Brown shooting.
Yes, of course he did. We've
yeah.
covered that.
Yeah, I was on the phone with him during the entire event. He was actually pulling students into his house. He lived right across the street from the shooting. So.
I remember that now because we covered a lot of that. So now Vic goes into Providence somewhat.
Yes.
Is that what kind of area is that?
From what I gather, there's different sections of Providence. There's a heavy Jewish population up near Brown on the east side of Providence.
God willing, they're available.
Yeah. There's a new Hispanic population that's moved in to the southern part of Providence, more of the minority district. There's one section of Cranston that borders Providence where the minority population is the majority for the first time in history.
Oh.
So
well, what kind of what minority? When you say minority,
Hispanics, a lot of Dominicans, some Asians, Asian population.
You should have me come and campaign there. I'm very popular with Dominicans.
Well,
you know why? I turned around Washington Heights.
There you go.
And when I ran for re-election, I got 50% of the Hispanic vote.
I carry most of that vote because of my affiliation with baseball.
Yeah,
coaching over the years. Very strong population with Big Papi and Ortiz and Pedro Martinez.
And I'm very friendly with the president of the Dominican Republic. I've done security work there. And Washington Heights was a very, very dangerous part of New York City when I became mayor. I concentrated on it because I knew the Dominican population was an entrepreneurial population. Mm-hmm. And if I use my programs like welfare to work and requiring people to look for jobs and helping them with businesses, it would work. And I knew they'd buy the law and order part.
In my administration, we've had over 150 new businesses come into the city that were predominantly Dominican, Spanish.
Mm-hmm. So in 1998 or 99, there was a blackout in New York, like we get. In 1992, there had been a massive riot in the Dominican section of Washington Heights for 4 days. They burned down buildings, they burned down fire trucks, they killed people because there was a police shooting that turned out to be completely misstated. They presented it as the police shot an altar boy, but they left out the fact that the guy had a massive record, was the head of a drug gang, and they also didn't put out the video that existed in which the cop was fighting for his life. Well, that stopped the riot. But now, 6 years later, after I'm mayor, we have a blackout. Mm-hmm. All our blackouts had riots. Under Koch, under Lindsay, you have a riot in New York. You have all the looters come out. Mm-hmm. Now it's time for me to take what I'm supposed to get. A lot of people were very nervous about Washington Heights. What's going to happen in Washington Heights? The lights are out all night. Electricity is gone. I summoned up 10,000 cops, put them in the background because I knew they weren't going to do anything. But nobody else believed me. I had my 10,000 cops already. I stayed up all night, walked the streets there. You know, we had no crime that night. And Washington Heights, even though it was down, always had some crime. But that night they realized they had to cooperate and there was no crime. And that was one of my great victories. The city turned into, the Dominican section turned into a perfectly beautiful section of the city.
Well, I can tell you this,
and they're beautiful people and they're very Catholic.
I'm going to the Dominican Republic for the 15th. Pedro Martinez is opening up a baseball stadium in his hometown. I had a great relationship with him. I would give kids scholarship from the Dominican. He would pay for their housing and their food, and we were bringing kids in. So when we had the ATV problems in Providence and Cranston, and gangs of ATVs were coming around, I made a statement to the press that not only am I going to take them, I'm going to arrest you, I'm going to take them, and I'm going to ship them to the Dominican Republic. And that's exactly what I did. I met with the mayor of Providence, and I told them, and they stopped. There's no more ATVs in Providence or Cranston. We don't take them. They don't let them ride the streets anymore.
You see, this is what a good mayor does. And by and large, if you told me this happened in your city and I didn't know you, I would have said, oh, they have a Republican mayor.
Well, we try to do the right things, and my number one job is to keep people safe.
Of course, it is.
I give the police department whatever they need. I just bought them a Bearcat last week, $450,000.
What is it? Describe
It's a
that.
tank. It's a bulletproof tank. So if we have issues with people that are being held hostages, bank robberies, we send our police in immediately, and we keep Cranston probably the safest city in New England.
So how is the cooperation in Rhode Island with the police if, God forbid, you should get a big terrorist incident? Or, well, I guess Brown was an example of that, but that was Providence, which is a little bigger. Yeah. They probably needed help with that.
That night I sent in 30 of
our
police department were the first ones on the scene.
And they would do the same for you?
Absolutely. Yeah,
and the state
mutual
police?
aid. State police were there. My nephew was there. He's a state trooper.
And that works well.
Absolutely.
Because some places it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to do this. I had a security business for 20 years, and I used to do this work all over the country. And I did it in the places that didn't work. And there are some disasters where they don't help. They let people die.
Mayor Smiley and I have videos of us putting the ATVs on the cargo container and putting them on the boat.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And shipping them to Santo Domingo.
That's beautiful. So now, what's the trick to getting elected as a Republican? And it's strange because it got at times tougher for you.
It did. The smile, pretty blue eyes. I don't know if that worked.
Handsome.
The Irish guy. But I was married to a beautiful Italian named Mary Gramellini.
Oh, my.
And that helped. So I had Irish kids and Italian kids that
you like
smiled. They were good-looking kids. And then my son married a girl from the Philippines.
Oh, boy.
My daughter married a guy from Miami that was Puerto Rican.
Oh, so
I've got a nuclear family.
You just bring the whole family out.
Absolutely.
Just show a picture and you got it all. It's like Mayor LaGuardia, who was the mayor of New York during the Depression and the Second World War, and very famous. The airport is named for him. Mayor LaGuardia was Italian ethnically. He was first generation. His father was born in Italy. However, he was half Jewish because mommy was Jewish, which makes him officially Jewish.
Sure.
So you'd say, well, then he was either Catholic or Jewish religion.
Well, that works.
He was an Episcopalian.
Oh.
Because when his father came to America, and this was not, it was unusual but not unique. The Episcopalian church, where he ended up in the neighborhood he went to, had a much better outreach to the Italian community. And they were helping them get jobs, giving them food, because they realized there was some friction between the Italian and the Irish Catholics. So the Episcopalians came into the breach. And so I lived in a community in Brooklyn that used to have, when I was born, that used to have an Italian church, an Irish church, and right in the middle was an Episcopalian church. The Episcopalians were like would poach. They'd see they wouldn't do if they didn't have that. But if they saw it like a neighborhood with Irish, Italian, they'd move in and they tried that with the Hispanics too. It really didn't work. It really didn't work. They got a few people, but they would have these little. So he would go around campaigning saying, "I'm Jewish." And he'd do Yiddish. He'd speak. I'm Jewish because my mother's Jewish. I'm Italian because my name was like he spoke Italian. And then he would go to the Protestant churches and say, "I'm Protestant."
Well, one of the things I did recently is it's a Main Street concept. We have Etranians that live in Cranston. They settled in Knightsville back in the 20s and 30s, and I renovated an entire park. Which duplicated everything from Itri, Italy. So their mayor comes here. I'm going there next October. It's our sister city. So I renovated. It's in the Knightsville section of Cranston.
And where is this city in Italy?
It's just north of Rome. Itri.
Oh yeah, okay.
Itri, just north of Rome.
Sure.
So we have a big feast every year, the feast of the Blessed Mother. And I renovated that entire district, about 3 miles.
So these are all Romans.
Romans, Etronians.
Yeah.
Heavy Italian restaurant district.
Yeah.
So
Lazio.
people that used to go to Providence now come to Cranston because of the Italian restaurants.
Well,
so you've got to get there the next time you're in town.
I went to a really good Italian restaurant when I was there.
In Cranston?
I think
had
so.
to be.
Or maybe it was. I think it was in Cranston.
It had to be.
Yeah.
Now, I have one question for the mayor of Cranston. It's a little more juvenile, but is your city the city that Family Guy is based off of? The Family Guy cartoon?
No, that would be Providence.
That would be Providence? Okay,
Yeah.
because they're telling me that the if you look, the skyline, is that your skyline right there? Can you tell? Or is that Providence?
That could look like Cranston.
Because
or Pawtucket.
That's what they were. Okay, well, never mind then. I guess it's not the case. I thought that was.
But it's Rhode Island.
Well,
Rhode Island.
We do a lot of films, though. We just had.
It's a great. It's a, you
God
weren't.
rest
You
his
didn't come.
soul,
It's
Vinny
beautiful.
Pastore just did a film with us.
It's a
Chaz
sto-
Palminteri.
It's a
just did film.
storybook city. I mean,
Oh, it is.
it's great cinema.
Yeah. We just did those two movies.
It's a little more manageable than Providence. Providence is kind of all over the place.
It is.
For a
is.
small city, it's a big city.
Well, Cranston, we go all the way from the bay,
Yeah.
the water, up into the main part of the city, which is more of a theater district.
Yeah, but it's
A lot of
what I mean is it's
entertainment.
more of an integrated city.
It is.
sort of comes
Yeah.
together.
It does.
Providence, to me at least, and I've been to Providence a fair amount, goes different. I like Providence, but it goes off in different
Yeah,
directions.
Providence is a great city.
And I love Providence College because I gave my first commencement address there.
Yeah.
And I was nervous as hell, and they were very nice to me.
You're talking to the biggest Friar fan in history. This guy.
I love the
My
Dominicans.
son went there. I love Providence College.
And because of that, I've always been very close to the Dominican.
My brother
priest.
played shortstop when they had a baseball team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're big Friar
Wow.
fans.
Well, maybe you like me for the following reason. You remember when the manager Grady took Pedro out
Oh, yeah.
and the Yankees won.
do
and
remember.
So I was the mayor then, and I was known as the #1 Yankee fan in the city. And when it was all over, and the Yankees that's when finally Boone hit the home run, right? And they're out on the field.
You're rehashing some
I'm gonna tell
real
you
bad
something nice. I'm gonna
nightmares
tell you
right
something.
now.
You
I
could
want
do it to
know.
me easily. So after it was over, I knew Pedro, and I knew Big Poppy. I was friendly with him, and I went in the dugout, went in your dugout, and he was still there. And I went over to Pedro, and I said, it's a shame, et cetera. And Pedro was very professional.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation similar to this with Yankee pitchers at different times when they lost a game or something. And he said, look, this is what happens. I did my best, and wait till next year. Next year was when you took us in 4.
That's the NY. Right?
Yeah.
Next year.
So then I went to Grady, and I said, because they were already saying he's going to get fired before the game was even over. I said, I think it's a shame. I mean, that's a close call. I was a baseball catcher,
Sure.
so you got the pennant on the line. You got your best pitcher in there. You're thinking about you improved your bullpen for the next year. In fact, that's what we had on you for so long. We had a much better relief pitching. We'd beat you when you took your starting pitcher out.
Didn't we give you Sparky Lyle?
Oh yeah, for a long time ago.
Great.
But I mean, all through the late '90s when Torrey was beating you all the time, we were losing a lot of games going into the 7th, 8th inning, and then
Sure.
we'd win it. We'd win when Pedro came out,
Mm-hmm.
which is another thing that had to affect Grady. You remember how many times we beat you when you took Pedro out?
Oh.
But then what you did was over that winter, you went and really stacked up your bullpen. So by the time we start playing you in the next season, I realized before the season was half over, you were going to be tougher, because all of a sudden the same thing's not happening. Now you're bringing guys in the 7th inning and the 8th inning, and they're holding the game.
And now this year we have the best bullpen we've ever had
So important.
with Chapman.
So
to close it.
important. So important. Chapman. Now you made me feel bad. We paid a fortune for Chapman.
Yeah.
He had 2 great seasons for us. And then he would come in and give up 8 runs.
But I told you the other day, I've got a baseball and it says, "Dear Mayor, I'm so sorry I gave up that home run to Bucky Dent.
Yeah, you told me that.
Signed Mike Torres. That kills me to see that.
Well, he was a traitor because he'd been a Yankee.
But I'll be with Pedro and Poppy
Will you
next
say
week.
Say hello to
I
both
sure
of them,
will.
okay?
Yeah. He built
What is it? Pedro de Macorís?
He built a replica of Fenway Park in his hometown.
Is that that place where all the
Pedro
ball?
de Macorís.
De Macorís, that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a beautiful. If you want to go on a nice vacation, go to the Dominican
And then we
Republic.
go on his boat and sail the Caribbean a little bit.
Oh.
It's a fun trip.
Well, Mayor, it's been a great pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
We're gonna keep checking in with you. If we knew you, we would have called you when that Brown thing happened. We were trying to get people there, and that was a terrible, terrible day.
It sure was.
Yep.
Yep.
And say hello to all those wonderful Dominican priests. They're just given to us by God.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
It's a great school, and my son graduated. I'm still paying his bill, but he graduated from PC, and he's a high school principal now.
The Religious Order of Thomas Aquinas.
Thomas Aquinas. There you go. Yeah.
That's the short assumer for dummies like me. Think I could read the whole 4 or 5 volumes? I did when I studied and tried to get into the seminary.
One of the questions I always get is, what's the best book that you ever read? And I'm going to give you mine. The best book that really had an impact on you. Now, I haven't read yours yet, and I tried finding it in the bookstore, and I'm going to.
I don't have a best one that had a great impact. I mean, the Bible had the biggest impact. I mean, the missal.
The Bible's the right answer.
The Bible. There you go. Well, I was born on August 29th, which is the same birthday as Senator McCain.
His book. Really?
Yes.
I read John's book.
Character is
good.
Destiny. Is the name of the book.
Yes.
To me, it made.
I was
going
to say the best book, but then to get me in real trouble, it's The Godfather. But
yeah, well, I love the movie. I see it a million times.
It actually, if you switch it around a little, it has some great lessons in it. If you do away with the murder and that kind of stuff, no murder, just lessons about loyalty, and like the scene where Michael goes into the hospital and helps his father, who's in the hospital bed, and he leans over and he says to his father, "Pop, I'm with you." I used to show that to my son Andrew and say, "Andrew, that's the loyalty I want out of you."
There you go. I like the spot when they said, "Leave the guns and take the cannolis."
Oh, come on, I use that all the time.
All right, guys, I'm just gonna say it.
All right.
The Art of the Deal. That's the book.
Oh, you're a suck up. You're a suck up. Stephen the suck up. Mr. President, don't take that seriously. Although people say he's easily flattered.
Well, I'd sent him a letter recently because the big snowstorm that we had.
Yeah.
We didn't get any money for it because it's such a blue state and they ridicule him all the time.
Can he send money just to Cranston?
I did. I sent him a letter. I said, "Dear President,
did he?
I'm the only Republican here in the state.
I'll tell him.
I need that $1.2 million.
Until we get Vic in.
There you go.
You get it just to the mayor of Cranston.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Always a pleasure. God bless.
We'll be back very shortly. Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans. No Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
You're back.
Well, welcome back to America's Mayor Live. Now, those were two lively interviews. Remember the election, Vic's election. Where do they send it to? VicMalore.com?
Yes.
VicMalore.com. Send them a donation. Believe me, at the very end, you always need some extra money if you want to put it over the top. And an election like his, if I'm not mistaken, is gonna require a lot of street work and calls and also advertising. And advertising now is more complicated. You have to be on this thing. You got to be on television, and a lot of people don't watch. So please make a donation. So let's run over the things that they keep from you that you'll get from us. Number one is it looks like the economic pressure on Iran is having a very, very big impact. So this whole idea that we're losing the war in Iran is wrong, and it's a I don't know. Do you want to call it fake news? You can call it fake news. I saw it when I was in Europe. The European press is horribly left-wing, horribly liberal, very atheistic, can say everything bad about them, except they're better than ours. We were getting better coverage there, and they have a begrudging admiration of Trump. I don't think they like him, but they respect the fact that our country has leadership, and with the exception of Italy and Giorgia Meloni, nobody in Europe has leadership. And they'll tell it to me. Some of them don't like him will say to me, "I wish we had a president that did for us what your president does for your country." So give Vic a chance to help him. And the same thing with the Mayor Hopkins, huh? So Iran threats on the president, on the president's son, on the president's wife, and believe me, threats on many. Look, threatened to kill me twice, so it's personal. This is an out of control regime, and the sooner it goes, the more people are going to live. And I just keep waiting for them to be finished, because I do know through MEK, and we'll have them on this week. We have alternatives, and we've got good alternatives to them. Also, this whole question with data centers, I want you to be careful. I know there's a big NIMBY issue against it. I know nobody wants a data center in their neighborhood. There should be a way to do data centers outside of neighborhoods in areas where there are fields or something else not going. But we don't have the option to not have data centers, large ones, because we need that extra energy. We need, within the next 5 to 6 years, we need to double the amount of energy that we have. That's to stay number one in the world in terms of computing, quantum computing, artificial intelligence. The reason you want to be number one in the world in those areas is no matter how far ahead you are on weapons, they're going to beat weapons. They're more valuable to controlling the world, even to controlling a war, than the weapons themselves. So we cannot let China, that is trying every which way to get ahead of us. And one of the things they're doing is sponsoring propaganda, knowing they can get to like a soft issue in America. You don't want a data center in your neighborhood. You don't want a data center in your neighborhood. Data centers are going to, I don't know what. Remember, if Americans were like that in 1870, 1880, 1890, 1900, 1910, the Industrial Revolution never would have taken place. And we'd all be speaking German maybe, or Chinese or Japanese or who knows what. Well, it could be Chinese if we don't wake up. So the president's doing everything he can to make it palatable to you. The idea of companies having to put in the money for the extra electricity they're going to need, which they're more than willing to do. And the mayors, the governors, the city planners, and the federal government should work together. Almost every city, I don't care how crowded, there's some place you can put one, and you're going to need one. So I know the politics. I know politically anybody's saying more data centers right now running for office. Don't say it. Wait, you're going to get killed. But then we got to convince the American people that we're biting our nose to spite our face. We're killing ourselves. You saw the conversation with Syed. I don't know. I'm going to probably change my mind 4 times before the election. This could be the most dangerous candidate that's ever run. I don't know if he's more dangerous than Mamdani. I don't know. Mamdani's more of an immature kid than this guy. This guy's smarter and more shrewd, and there are more angles to him. Mamdani suffers from the fact that he's an immature, completely a guy without experience. You see Vic, the background Vic has, and a lot of these good Republican candidates. That guy never worked a day in his life. Mamdani has never worked a day in his life. Remember, neither did Barack Obama. Barack Obama was an activist. What the hell is an activist? You call him up once a week and he goes in a rally. So it's really important that the people you vote for have a background. Doesn't have to be the same. A background of achievement. They don't have to be the stars. He was very successful. Don't have to be that successful. Just a guy that understands that you got to work hard. If you're successful, well, that's even better. Keep your eye on Piker. Piker is the key that unites all these guys. They all have used Piker as their surrogate. Saeed, Mamdani, some of the other crazy ones. This guy I will never forget, and he'll never lose me. Remember, he said that, what did he say about 9/11, Ted? I don't want to misquote him.
Well, he said that America deserved 9/11. Absolutely atrocious. I hate repeating it.
Okay. I will spend my life making sure this guy is properly defined, and as much as possible, nobody follows him. I owe it to the people who died that day. Where does this guy come off saying that? And why do some of my fellow Americans cheer for this guy? And all you have to do is look at him. I don't know what's wrong with some of these people. You can look at this guy and he's a creep. You can see he's a creep. Maybe because I was a prosecutor, I pick out creeps really fast. But speaking of creeps, Jamie Raskin. Here's another Jewish traitor. The biggest one, of course, is Chuck Schumer, who I know I know since he was a slimy assemblyman. Now he's a slimy senator. But he had times in his career where he was bipartisan, times when he was conservative. Now he's anti-Israel, and he's Jewish. I mean, I can't understand. He turned on his own people. He is supporting Syed, who hates Jews. Now, we know he doesn't really support him, and he has to do it. But isn't that how the Nazis got control of Germany? With people like, isn't it people like Schumer, who didn't have the guts to stand up, that didn't cause Nazi, let it flourish? Well, we got another one in Jamie Raskin. Jamie Raskin, until a short while ago, you can pick this up in the Free Press by Bill Barr. Jamie Raskin was talking a while back about the crisis of anti-Semitism in higher education, which it has been enfolded in plain sight. That was 2 years ago. Now Jamie Raskin says one of the previews of a Democratic game plan, if they win the House in November, they are going to do a probe of Trump's false claims of anti-Semitism in universities. Shocked and astonished at academic anti-Semitism 2 years ago. Now he's gonna try to make the Trump administration pay for how they tried to remedy it, the first ones to do it. Is he a traitor or isn't he a traitor? You decide, okay? And this is what the Democratic Party is filled with, little rats like that. There's a new technology that discovered the remains just a few weeks ago of another person, September 11. They haven't released the name yet, but I think they are trying to contact the family. And this is the 1,654th victim to had their remains identified. Of course, many still haven't. And I'm going to conclude, and we'll be talking about this quite a bit over the next couple of weeks. People ask me, how do I put September 11 in context? And I say, don't ask me that question. That's asking me something like about Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was a horrible thing that happened. It's a matter of history. It has been resolved, and the country that did it is now our best friend. Thank God. Look how things can work out. September 11 is still going on, maybe worse now than that. The same reasons that led to that attack that killed almost 3,000 innocent Americans in 3 different places is going on today. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a group of crazy kids. These were 19 very, very committed religious Muslims who, by all accounts, were yelling Allah Akbar when they took those planes in to destroy thousands and thousands of Americans. You don't have to be a genius to figure out the motivation of someone saying Allah Akbar. You can lie about it like Obama did, and he would ignore it, like the guy at Fort Hood who killed our soldiers yelling Allah Akbar, and they wouldn't make it a Muslim incident. I don't know what they got to do, stick it in your face. He's shooting people saying, I'm doing it in the name of Allah, just so you get confused about my motive. I'm doing it to spread the religion the way Muhammad told me to do it. That has gone on every day since then. It's been less, it's been more, and now it's somewhat at a fevered pitch. And we are suffering from the fact that we have a lot of unknown people in this country that Biden let in. And it could be, it's in the millions. And the FBI has been doing a great job in really catching up on that. But it's never a precise science. And when you bring in millions like that, it becomes even more imprecise. So we have a big, big issue. And I'm watching the social media. And I'm actually surprised and kind of content with the fact that they're allowing a lot of these videos to go through of the people who were worried about this, people who are concerned about it, and the people who are pointing out what a lot of these Muslims are saying. These are not peaceful people. And you can go get their own words and play them, and you get to see it. A couple of years ago, they'd have taken that off. So I try to preserve as much of it as I can before they do take it off, but so far they haven't been. Right in the middle of an American city, they'll be talking about death to Americans, kill the president. Now, I would suggest that the Secret Service infiltrate some of those demonstrations. The minute somebody says kill the president, you're liable to arrest. It's one of the few things that's a restriction on your free speech. You cannot say you're going to kill the president. Doesn't mean you'll be prosecuted. It means you can be arrested and you got to be investigated to see, are you just a loudmouth? Are you a wacko? Or are you somebody who might do it? It would start to break it up pretty damn fast. And we have to start fighting back. And the good news is, watch social media more carefully. You'll see there are a lot of people fighting back, but you and I are going to dedicate ourselves to that. So we'll be back tomorrow afternoon, 4:00 on Lindell TV, 5:00 here on X. I want to thank the mayor and the new congressman for joining me. Thank you and good luck. And we'll keep you posted on what happens. And we'll see if President Trump, kind of takes Cranston and says, there's a little Republican outpost in the middle of this big giant Democrat. Let me get him some money. Pray for the people of Israel. Pray for the people of Ukraine. Pray for the people in Iran. Pray for us and for our president. God bless America. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to